Ninja Gaiden, released in Japan as Ninja Ryokenden
I see you
and
have
as
made
Shadow
it this
Warriors
far.
in Europe, is an action platform. Wait, this is the wrong clip. This isn't the 80s Ninja Gaiden. This is the Xbox remake. No, wait, stop the tape. Stop the tape. Wait, oh, come on. Stop the tape. Thank you. Wrong game. Let's roll it back. Ninja Gaiden, released in Japan as Ninja Ryokenden and as Shadow Warriors in Europe, is an action platform video game developed and published by Tecmo for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Its development and release coincided with the beat-em-up arcade version of the same name. It was released in December of 1988 in Japan, in March of 1989 in North America, and in August of 1991 in Europe. It has been ported to other platforms like PC Engine, Super Nintendo, and the mobile game. Set in a retro-futuristic version of 1988, the story follows a ninja named Ryu Hayabusa of the Hayabusa Ninja Clan, as he journeys to America to avenge his murdered father. There he learns that a person named Wakio plans to take control of the world by unleashing an ancient demon through the power contained in two statues. Featuring side-scrolling platform gameplay similar to Castlevania, players control Ryu through 6 acts that comprise 20 levels. They encounter enemies that must be dispatched with Ryu's katana and other secondary weapons. One thing of note is that this is the very first time a story would be told through cutscenes in a console game. Yes, that's right. Ninja Gaiden was the very first game on console to have cutscenes. The player takes control of the player character Ryu Hayabusa and guides him through 6 acts that comprise 20 levels. A life meter represents Ryu's physical strength, which decreases when he is hit by an enemy or projectile. A life is lost when the life meter gets to 0. One thing of major note was, during the 80s, most games didn't have a life gauge. You usually had a set number of lives, and once you were hit, that was it. It was game over, man. But this game was so difficult that you had to have a life bar to reach the end of the game. And even with that, there was no normal mode, medium mode, hard, legendary. There was just one game mode. Tecmo first announced the Famicom version of the game in January 15th in 1988. Issue of Family Computer magazine under the title Ninja Gaiden, which would later be used for the game's American version. The game was released in Japan on December 9th, 1988 under its final title, Ninja Ryokenden, which roughly translates to Legend of the Dragon Sword. It was developed and released around the same time as the beat-em-up arcade version of the same name. Neither games were ports of each other, but were parallel projects developed by different teams. According to developer Masato Kato, the term ninja was gaining popularity in North America, prompting Tecmo to develop a ninja-related game for the NES at the same time the arcade version of Ninja Gaiden was developed. Hideo Yoshizawa developed and directed the NES version. Ninja Gaiden was Masato Kato's first full-time project as a video game designer, and he contributed to the game's graphics, animation, and instruction manual illustrations, drawing inspiration from Mario Brothers of all things. Yoshizawa kept the same title, but changed everything else. It became a platform game as opposed to a beat-em-up game, such as Double Dragon. The gameplay was modeled after Konami's Castlevania, with Ryu being equipped with a katana-like dragon sword, shurikens, and ninpo techniques such as fire wheels. In designing the protagonist, Ryu Hayabusa, the development team wanted him to be unique from other ninjas. They designed him with a ninja vest to place emphasis on his muscles, and they furnished him with a cowl that arched outward. They originally wanted to equip Ryu with sensors on a helmet with an inside monitor to check his surroundings. The idea was scrapped. According to Kato, they used specific locations and environments to justify the need for having a ninja for a main character. Further concern, according to Yoshizawa, was to appeal to the gameplay-oriented expectations of Ninja Gaiden's target audience, mainly represented by experienced players who appreciated challenging gameplay design. He recalled that during the development, Tecmo adhered to the philosophy that the user would throw a game away if it wasn't hard enough. As a result, Yoshizawa decided to give the game an overall high level of difficulty. A lot of players took this as a challenge, saying, "I made it through Ninja Gaiden without losing a life." Yoshizawa placed greater emphasis on the story, unlike the arcade version, and wrote and designed a plot that included over 20 minutes of cinematic cutscenes, the first time an NES game contained such sequences. Yoshizawa stated that the adoption of this presentation style came from his earlier aspirations for a career in commercial filmmaking, which led to seek an opportunity to put in a movie somehow. His idea was to reverse the then prevailing trend wherein the narrative aspects of contemporary NES games were undervalued by consumers, with the inclusion of an interesting plot that can engage every player. Tecmo called the cutscene system Tecmo Theater, in which the game reveals the storyline between acts through the use of animated sequences. They are used at the beginning of each act to introduce new characters such as Irene Law, Walter Smith, and Wakio. This feature uses techniques such as close-ups, alternate camera angles, differing background music, sound effects to make the game more enjoyable for players. Unlike earlier titles such as Final Fantasy, cutscenes consisted of large anime art on the top half of the screen and dialogue on the bottom half. This made the artistic style more reminiscent of manga titles such as Lupin 3, Golago 13. Dimitri Sirioni, Tecmo's USA Director of Sales and Marketing, said that console games had an advantage over arcade games, in that they allowed the creation of a longer game and the inclusion of cutscenes, which Tecmo trademarked as cinema screens. He noted console games required a different reward structure than arcade games. The game contains a feature that was originally a glitch, but was left in the final game intentionally. According to Masato Kato, having lost to any of the game's 3 last bosses, the player is sent back to the beginning of the 6th act. When the game's text was translated from Japanese to English, the game needed to be reprogrammed to accomplish this. Different companies handled this process in different ways. Tecmo's Japanese writers wrote rough translations in English, and then fixed them for the American version. According to Sirioni, the American division would edit it and put it back together, telling the story in a context that an American English speaker would understand. This would go back and forth several times. Moreover, the game's text was stored in pictured files instead of raw computer text. Because of the NES's hardware limitations, English text needed to be very clear and concise to fall within those limitations. In early 1988, advertisements from Nintendo Fun Club News, Tecmo, used Ninja Dragon as a tentative title for the US release. They decided to use the title Ninja Gaiden. Its working title when the game was released in the US in March, the title literally means Ninja Side Story. The game was not intended as a spin-off of any prior work. According to an interview with developer Masato Kato, when deciding how to translate Ryu Kenden in English, the staff chose Ninja Gaiden because it sounded cool. In Europe, the game was scheduled to be released in September of 1990, but was delayed until September of 1991. It was retitled Shadow Warrior, just as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was renamed Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, as ninjas were considered a taboo subject in Europe. It was one of many ninja-related video games around the time, such as Legend of the Kage, Ninja Warriors, and Shinobi. A Upon Ninja Gaiden's North America release, Nintendo of America, whose playtesters liked the game and gave it high ratings, decided to help with its marketing. Nintendo's house organ, Nintendo Power, featured it prominently. According to Sirioni, it did not take a lot of effort to market the game through the magazine, nor did Nintendo or Tecmo do much else to promote it. Overall, Ninja Gaiden is one of my favorite games of all time. I love going back and playing this on the Nintendo. I love spending hours with Ryu Hayabusa. Hopefully, in the future, we're going to do some more of these retro reviews with Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Gaiden 3, and the Xbox and PS3 titles. Till then, guys, have a great time playing those games. Always come back and hang out at That Game Plays.